On Christmas Eve, we light the fifth candle of Advent. This candle reminds us of the holy night in which Jesus entered our world, bringing peace, love, joy, and hope. The Gospel of Luke, chapter 2. In those days, Caesar Augustus made a law. It required that a list be made everyone in the whole Roman world. Everyone went to their own town to be listed. So Joseph also went. He went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judah. That is where Bethlehem, the town of David, was. Joseph went there because he belonged to the family line of David. He went there with Mary to be listed. She was expecting a baby. While Joseph and Mary were there, the time came for the child to be born. She gave birth to her first baby. It was a boy. She wrapped him in large strips of cloth. Then she placed him in a manger. That's because there was no guest room where they could stay.
Hey everyone, Merry Christmas! It's Ben here. Just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, Merry Christmas to you all. I know that this isn't exactly what we had planned for a Christmas Eve service, but I hope this message finds you well. Hope that you are safe, you are comfortable and warm somewhere, and I hope that you are centered. You're thinking about the true reason for this season, which is Jesus Christ. He came for us, to us, and He is our Savior. So as we head into a time of worship, I hope and pray that you can sing along with us from the bottom of your heart, really capture the essence of Christmas, which is Jesus Christ. Guys, we love you and are praying for you and hope that we can see you soon in 2021. God bless.
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Reconcile. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Hail the heavenborn Prince of Peace.
first saw the movie Life is Beautiful when I was in college. It had just come out to theaters. A few of my friends were going to the movies and invited me to tag along. If you've never seen it, it's the story of this Italian Jewish man and his life. He lived during the Holocaust. His life is what you might expect for a Jew living at that time in that place. Early on, his bookstore is vandalized. His life is turned upside down. He is ridiculed and mocked and mistreated. And then it ends with his family being sent off to a concentration camp. And yet, as the title of the movie suggests, that's what happened. That's not his story. His is the story of an Italian Jewish man during the Holocaust who lived a beautiful life. It's based upon the real events of Roberto Benigni's father. Roberto Benigni is the star of the film, and he plays this Italian Jewish man. His father, though, had spent 2 years in a concentration camp during World War II. And there, Benigni's father rebelled. And his rebellion was by living a life of joy, freedom, and victory, even while being in a concentration camp. It's really a stunning story. So after the movie, we all go and we stop at this cafe. And we sit down and we're all like hugging our little lattes and we're just staring at each other. Like it's one of those moments where we just don't know what to say. It is heavy with silence. And after we sit there just waiting for someone else to speak for what felt like 10 minutes, I finally say, "Wow, what do you guys think?" And my friend Sarah just starts weeping, like uncontrollably sobbing, like heaving there in the middle of this cafe. And when she can finally begin to explain herself, she tells us that she's not crying because it was so sad. She's crying because it was so beautiful. This past week I was reading through the book of Isaiah, and this moment, this movie, this cafe, my friend Sarah's response, this all came back to me. It sounded familiar. It reminded me of what I was reading in Isaiah. This is Isaiah's experience of Christmas. Isaiah gives us some of the great prophecies of Christmas, of Jesus coming to earth. Ones like Isaiah chapter 7, "The virgin will give birth and you will call his name Emmanuel, God with us." Isaiah chapter 9, "For unto us a child is born, to us a son is given." These come from some of the darkest moments in the history of the people of God. And yet, in the midst of that, in this darkness, there's this rebellion of beauty, of joy, of freedom, of victory that rings through. It is a message of unspeakable beauty. So listen to this. We're in Isaiah chapter 9, written some 700 years before Christ was born. Isaiah 9, starting in verse 1, reads like this: "Nevertheless, there will be no more gloom for those who were in distress. In the past, he humbled the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali. But in the future, he will honor Galilee of the nations by the way of the sea beyond the Jordan." So when Isaiah writes this, it was a dark time. Terrible things had just happened. In 734 BC, one of the most horrifically brutal human beings in the history of the world, a guy named Tiglath-Pileser, an Assyrian, had led an army down from the north from Assyria down into northern Israel, the land of Zebulun and Naphtali, and he did things that were just horrific, things that can't be undone, things that were dehumanizing. Now, I don't want to be overly dramatic here and pretend like living through 2020 was anything like living through an Assyrian siege. For many of us, the trials of this past year were things more in the category of like running dangerously low on toilet paper or having to breathe our own coffee breath while we wear a mask. But for some of us, 2020 was tough. For a number of us, it meant unemployment and uncertainty. For 1 out of every 3 adults in America, it meant depression or anxiety. And for a few of us, it was literally a matter of life and death. Just last week, I heard from a college friend who not from him, but from his wife. He's in the ICU. He is my age, a healthy guy, and yet he's in the ICU and had to be put on the heart and lung machine. So, while 2020, not by any stretch of the imagination, it is not an Assyrian siege, the point remains here. If Isaiah's message of hope could break through that kind of darkness, that kind of terrible things that had happened, the things that those people had been through, if Isaiah's message could penetrate through that darkness, how much more should it be able to break through ours? So listen to Isaiah's Christmas message. It starts in verse 2. The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of deep darkness, a light has dawned, like deep darkness. Have you ever been on one of those tours through a cave where you go down like a guided tour and then halfway through the tour the guide says, hold on to something, and he shuts off the lights? That's the sense here. It makes no difference whether your eyes are open or closed. It is such darkness that you're just left groping in the dark. These people that Isaiah is writing to, they'd been through something so terrible that they could no longer see their way. They could no longer see God. They could no longer see a way forward. They were living in deep darkness. And some of you know exactly what Isaiah is talking about here. But Isaiah says in this passage, something's about to happen. A sun is about to rise. A great light is about to chase away the darkness. And when this happens, these people who've known nothing but sorrow and hardship are going to erupt in joy. Look at verse 3. You, God, have enlarged the nation and increased their joy. They rejoice before you as people rejoice at the harvest, as warriors rejoice when dividing the plunder. Joy, rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. Those living in deep darkness will experience a joy, a moment of delight, like someone who just found a bag of cheese doodles in Antarctica. It's uncontained joy. Verse 4, for as in the day of Midian's defeat, you have shattered the yoke that burdens them, the bar across their shoulders, the rod of their oppressor. Isaiah says this will be like Judges chapter 7, when Gideon defeated the Midianites and set God's people free. This is an image of a yoke. It's this big piece of wood or metal that you would put on the shoulders of an ox to be able to control it and direct it and force it to work. Captors, guys like Tiglath-Pileser, literally will put a yoke on the prisoners of war, on the neck of a prisoner of war, and drag them off as slaves. But Isaiah sees a day when these yokes, when the things that enslave us, will be shattered, when we will know a freedom we've never known before. And this victory that he will win on our behalf will make us more than conquerors. The fighting will be over so we can burn our uniforms. That's in verse 5 here. Every warrior's boot used in battle, every garment rolled in blood will be destined for burning, will be fuel for the fire. The fighting is over. We are more than conquerors. And how will such a thing be accomplished? How could a people who've been through such darkness, through such terrible experiences, know joy, freedom, security, victory like this? We read the answer in verse 6. For to us a child is born. To us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. A king will be born, but not just any king. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. He will be a wonderful counselor. He will be the very embodiment of wisdom. He'll be mighty God, like David's mighty men of old. This king will be a mighty warrior. He will win the battles that you and I cannot win. Everlasting Father, this king will be your protector and your provider. He will allow you to know the love of the Father. Through him, you will know that the Father loves you. Prince of Peace, Prince of Shalom, of wholeness. He will give you a peace that this world cannot give to you, and this world cannot take away from you. And that is Isaiah's vision of Christmas. That's his message about this coming sun, that in the moment of deepest darkness, something beautiful has happened, something unspeakably beautiful. God himself has come after us. So on this night, this Christmas Eve, we celebrate the birth of this child, of this king, this one who would bring joy to those in mourning, bring freedom to those who are enslaved, security to the insecure, wholeness to the broken, victory to those who had given up. And I don't know what you've gone through this past year. Maybe this last year was great for you. Maybe it was really difficult. But this Christmas, I urge you with the words of Isaiah, no matter how dark things get, you can find joy in the one who loved you and gave himself for you. No matter how difficult the pressures of life, you can walk in freedom because your value and your worth is not based on your performance, but based upon Christ's righteousness. No matter how often you failed, you can rest in his victory for you on the cross. And no matter what happened in 2020 or what happens in 2021, he's inviting you and me to live a beautiful life, a life of joy, freedom, and victory. Church, this is my prayer for you. This Christmas, may the light of Christ pierce through the darkness. May it allow you to know the greatness of our King, the greatness of his love for you, and the greatness of what he has done for you and for me. Merry Christmas. Can't wait to see you in 2021.
O come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. O come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Sing, choirs of angels, sing in exaltation. Sing, all ye citizens of heaven above. Glory to God, glory in the highest. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Yea, Lord, we greet thee, on this happy morning. Jesus, to thee be all glory given. Word of the Father, now in flesh appearing. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come.
Well, that's it. We hope and pray that you guys have a great Christmas. Hope you've enjoyed this message and time of worship and Christmas carols with us together. This is a season of celebration. Eat, drink, be merry, eat bacon. Guys, it is a great time of year. And just in case you forgot the real Christmas story, we're going to play a video for you immediately after this, which is 100% biblically accurate. Not really, but it's actually quite fun to watch. So stay with us for another couple of minutes.
Once upon a time, there was a girl named Mary. I think Mary was about Mommy's age. She was cleaning up the house. An angel came to Mary and said, you're gonna have a baby boy. She was a little nervous and stuff. Mary said, okay. Joseph was sleeping. Joseph was Mary's girlfriend. No, boyfriend. Joseph was sleeping, and the angel came to him. The angel said Mommy's gonna have a baby. He didn't really believe the dream. He was shocked. Is this really a true dream? Because I've never seen an angel before, and I would be super shocked that I would actually see one. So they were talking to each other. Mary said she was gonna have a baby. Joseph said, okay. And then they went to Bethlehem. They had to go to Bethlehem because there was a census. Mary and Joseph rode a camel to Bethlehem. Or maybe they took this car. Except not with the Christmas tree. They looked for houses that would let them spend the night. Maybe try to stay at a hotel. But was all full. There's no room for us. They would try to stay at people's houses because they're not comfortable staying outside, maybe. They knocked on everybody's door, but they said, there ain't no room here. Joseph knocked on every house door. They said that the house was too full because there were too many people. Like the thing was filled with all these people and animals and stuff. Isn't there any place to go? None of the houses let them in, so they found the stable. And they had to go into like a barn. A barn is red, and it kind of looks like this, and it has things that kind of makes it bumpy. It was dirty and dust all over the place. Mary said to Joseph, ew, it's stinky in here. I don't think she liked being in a stable. Only a little bit. Joseph made a bed for Mary, and Mary gave birth to the baby. He said, I'm about to have a baby. Having a baby was fun for Mary. And then Jesus was born. They were happy. Jesus' head was the size of an apple. When Jesus was born, Mary said, I love baby Jesus. Joseph said, oh, he's so cute. The angel appeared to some workers. They were building a house. The angel said, I got good news. When they saw the angel, they reacted like they'd never seen an angel before. They were going like, yeah. The angel said that there was a baby born in a farm. They said, "Oh my goodness, I've never seen anything like this because I'm so shocked."
Let's go meet him.
Let's go see baby Jesus. And there was 3 men that followed a bright star to the stable and another.
There were 3 wise men.
They were probably reading books, something like that.
A smart person wears a black hat with a little string hanging down and a black shirt.
Went all the way down to here.
The wise men knew to come because, I forget.
Look, there's a star. Let's follow it.
Ooh, let's follow that star.
We'll follow the star. They found them because the star led them there.
Inside of the barn, there's lots of animals.
Chickens, cows, and sheep.
And there are
Pigs.
And there are...
Hi, we're here to see the baby. Here he is.
Wise men, what gifts?
3 presents that had money.
They brought him frankincense, gold, and myrrh.
Oil, silver, and gold.
They brought frankincense and some toys, milk. Yeah, that would be nice. They couldn't believe that it was the Son of God.
They said it's the new king and stuff.
Wow. This is the king, and he one day will be your ruler.
Merry Christmas, everyone.